Visiting Taiwan was important for me. It's not that I decided to visit Taiwan just to check it off some imaginary list, but if I'm being honest with myself, in some ways, yeah, I think that maybe at first I might have been visiting Taiwan just to check it off some imaginary list. But here's the thing, I had always heard about Taiwan. I mean, everyone has. Taiwan is in the news all the time. But none of that is talking about the real Taiwan, the actual people, the culture, the nature, actual real life. Hi, my name is Josh, and I would love to introduce you to the place that I found beyond the headlines. This is the real Taiwan. My journey started in Taiwan's capital city of Taipei, and I basically had no plans. I sort of wanted to see how things would fall into place and just take it from there. Wandering cities aimlessly is one of my favorite things to do, just strolling and stopping into little shops and cafes and just feeling out the vibe. And I quickly learned that Taipei is great for that. I mean, I barely even made it one block before realizing that this is easily one of the most vibrant and welcoming cities I've ever been to. I chose to stay in the touristy XIMENDING neighborhood. And while my tour guide would later scoff at that idea, I didn't regret it. I mean, how could you not? You can literally see Taipei's name in a rainbow written in bold letters along the street in XIMENDING's main square. Altogether, it really feels like a neighborhood for everyone. It's fast-paced, vibrant, colorful, LGBT-friendly, and it's very much a foodie haven. I didn't eat a bad meal there once during my entire stay. I decided to join a free walking tour, which met up at a place called the 228 Peace Memorial Park. It's this beautiful green space away from the bustle of the square, but more importantly, it recognizes the February 28th incident in 1947, in which the government took brutal action against the local citizens. If you haven't heard of it, you should look it up because the story is really amazing and was covered up by the government for a long time. I had already learned so much about Taiwan through my tour and just by exploring the city. The energy, the pace, the flavors, the humor, the people. I felt like XIMENDING was an amazing ambassador of Taiwan, a welcoming neighborhood that could be fun and serious in equal measure. But ultimately, the city of Taipei is so much more than just the XIMENDING district. Nighttime rolled around, and so I hopped on the subway to go and see the most iconic building in the country, the Taipei 101 building in the Xinyi district. This is an iconic structure known all around the world with a huge fireworks celebration every new year. Just across the board from top to bottom, the scope of the city is so impressive. And as a big-time city enthusiast, I knew I could easily spend my entire trip just bopping between Taipei's shops and restaurants and iconic buildings with no problem. But some part of me knew that I wanted something deeper. On my second day in the city, I decided to focus on seeing some temples. Now, I'm not a Buddhist, but I do really like a lot of what Buddhism represents. It's about recognizing the importance of every moment that takes place in your life, whether good or bad, and allowing those moments to shape the person you are meant to be. And I didn't know it then, but this trip would be all about embracing that lesson. The first temple I visited was actually by accident. Right down the block from my hotel in XIMENDING, there is a temple along the street itself. This temple is known as the Tianhao Temple. I stopped in, and between the flowing water and the koi fish and the lights and the incense, you'd never know you were right in the middle of the bustling nightlife district. It is a quiet little oasis of calm and reflection. And no matter who you are or what you believe, it's honestly really nice. I, of course, was eager for more, and so I pulled out my phone and learned that the most famous temple in Taipei is known as the Longshan Temple. It was built in 1738 for Chinese settlers and is still going strong today. Shortly after I arrived there, it kind of started raining outside, but since I wasn't in a rush, that just meant I had a good excuse to spend some time reflecting on my journey so far. And I don't mean my journey in Taiwan, I mean in life. How crazy is it that I'm even here right now, and that I have the opportunity to see so much of the world and the different ways that people live? It was so beautiful, and between the temples and the city, I felt like I really got to see two entirely different sides of Taipei. But if I'm being honest, my biggest revelations would actually come when I left the capital city and started to see some other parts of the country. Day trips can be a little hit or miss. Oftentimes they feel super rushed, and you might walk away from them wishing you had had more time to spend with a certain activity. I mean, I feel that way a lot, and I really felt that way about the day tour I took in Taiwan. The tour I'm talking about explores the north of Taiwan and has 4 major parts, fully taking place in just one day. And while all 4 of them were breathtakingly beautiful, one made me really emotional in a way that totally surprised me. Part 1 was to visit the YEHLIU GEOPARK. It's a park known for its interesting and beautiful rock formations along this seaside jetty. The most famous rock formation here is the Queen's Head, and everyone kind of gets in this big long line to go and take pictures with it. Now, I think this park itself is really beautiful, but I think the Queen's Head rock is maybe a bit overrated. Which is really all to say that this stop wasn't the one that made me feel my feelings. From there, we went to Shifen, and that's where things really started to hit home. First up was the Shifen waterfall, which includes walking a long suspension bridge and through a collection of adorable shops in order to reach a stunning waterfall. They've nicknamed it Mini Niagara Falls, and actually, I can see that. The grounds have all these mossy statues and religious tributes, and it's kind of surreal. It feels like being in a movie or a video game. This was beautiful, but what was even more beautiful was what I had the chance to experience in the town of Shifen itself. There is a tradition here in which people come from all over the world to Shifen to release lanterns into the sky, reflecting their hopes and dreams and wishes. When I heard about it, I thought we were going to be getting these small little lanterns like the ones from Tangled, but no, these lanterns are huge. I didn't really know what I was doing. I came into this totally blind, but on the bus we were told to pick the colors for our lantern based around what you want, like out of life. Different colors represent different things, like love and success and money and luck. But that was only the start of my surprise. Once I arrived and received my lantern, I was told to literally paint right on top of it. That's right, you take an ink-covered brush and paint onto the lantern what you wish for, or the names of people you want to bless, or really whatever you want. And in a weird and totally unexpected way, this would become almost therapeutic. See, I thought I would just put down whatever and be finished, and so I just painted something simple and basic. A few generic words: family, wisdom, health. I didn't put much thought into it, I just wanted to finish and toss my lantern up into the sky. And so I flagged down the worker to announce that I was done, but no. Instead of letting me go, she flipped the lantern over. Oh, I had to paint another side. Okay. Now I had to think some more. What else do I want? By the time I got to the 3rd and the 4th sides of the lantern, the emotions started to hit. What do I actually wish for? Like, for real. I live a life that I love, and so it can feel selfish to even wish for anything. I mean, I'm traveling the world and experiencing so much. How can I ask for more? I ended up being the last one in the room. It was a city scene with a plane overhead and a simple picture of myself in a happy, loving relationship. Health, love, location, culture, travel, success, joy. That's it. That's what I want. And really, isn't that what everyone wants? Once your lantern is finished, you step outside and you release it into the air, into the universe, toward the spirits, up to God, however you want to frame it. It might seem silly for some, but for me, it was a moment to really reflect on my travels. That it's okay to wish and hope for better things in your life, even if there's already so much you're grateful to have been given. It was cathartic in a lot of ways, and it was really special. We finished the tour by walking through the gorgeous nearby city of Jiufen. The sun set over the town as I walked through the streets, reflecting and taking in the sights, buying little trinkets, smelling stinky tofu, and listening to street performers. I could have spent days here all by itself, and it was the most perfect and most beautiful way to end my 2 short visit to Taiwan. This trip not only gave me a clearer picture of what Taiwan really is, but it also gave me a clearer picture of myself and what I want. And I think that is exactly what I needed.